What inspires change? What motivates us? It's what's inside that moves us. What moves you? Get the Scion story at Scion.com.
For months now, the governor's office has been pressing the district court to either replace the attorney general with the governor's legal counsel or be allowed full representation in the ongoing solid waste consent decree, which has seen the construction of a new landfill in Luzon and is now approaching its final phase with the capping and closing out of the old dump in Ordot. These projects are being funded by a 2009 bond issue, and there's only a limited amount of money left in that bond fund. You're hoping that the bond funds will help pay the former landlords, right?
That's what we've been asking for. And, you know, it's not fair for us as the government to use eminent domain and set aside $3 million and then pay that, knowing that we have a judgment of over $20 million and we're accruing interest at the rate of over $100,000 per month.
This looming obligation of nearly $22 million was awarded to the former landowners by the Guam Superior Court last October. Only $3.4 million has been set aside to pay for it. And with the balance growing by $110,000 with the passing of every month, the administration now wants to know how much money is left in that bond fund that they can stake a claim on.
If we're going to be committed to financial obligations that we are not even party to or we're not aware of, you're kind of like asking, we're going to build a house for you and we'll let you know what it costs when we're done.
We certainly understand that that's the Lieutenant Governor's position. And if after we have completed the closure of the Ordot dump and the other consent decree projects that have to be paid for, there's money left over, then the government of Guam is free to do that. But it's been our position, a position that's been supported by the court, that these dollars were allocated for the purpose of these consent decree construction projects, and they must be completed before any money could be released.
Manning says that they have estimated how much they think it'll cost to close the Ordot dump, but the district court has ordered GBB's estimates sealed to preserve the integrity of the bidding process. Manning says those bids are due by the end of this week, but won't be publicly released until the contract has been awarded.
We do not want bidders bidding to that number. We want them to make their best bid possible. And those bids are actually scheduled to be received at the end of this week. So we are not in a position to release those estimates, but they have been disclosed to the court, and after the bidding process is completed, they will be released by the court.
But in addition to knowing how much is available to pay the settlement to the former landowners, Lieutenant Governor TENORIO says the administration also wants assurances that the Guam taxpayers' best interests are being represented as well. And the administration doesn't think they are. They've argued that the Guam Attorney General is representing GBB's interests, not GovGuam's. Another reason why the governor's office says they want full representation in the case.
Are we getting the best deal? Are we making sure that the system is done properly? Is the representation of the government on behalf of the people and who's going to be paying for this ultimately is the taxpayers as well as the ratepayers for the system? So in order for us to know what that is, we need to be responsible for the process by which we go about to get to that stage.
Well, the Attorney General's office has represented the government of Guam since the beginning of this litigation around the Ordot dump. And from our perspective, they've done it in a professional and in a very cost-effective way. We don't see any basis for the claims of the governor's office in that area. But more importantly, the court has already issued a decision in this matter, basically saying that the Attorney General's office represents the government of Guam.
As of last March, the government of Guam reported that there was about $48 million left in the bond account, which is held in trust at the Bank of Guam. Manning says there was about $17 million additional dollars left in GBB's account, also as of last March, roughly $65 million in all. But Manning acknowledges that's not enough to cover all the costs of closing the Ordot dump and paying the $22 million to the former landowners.
We have said to the court that we do not believe there is sufficient money for that. The bond issue of 2009 was never intended to be used for the land cost at Lejeune. The land had already been acquired by the government when the receivership was appointed, so we don't think there is sufficient dollars. But we won't know that until we receive the bids and complete the work.
Is there enough bond money?
We believe there is. As a matter of fact, we believe there's more than enough money to pay the landowners, and still, there's going to be future obligations of the government to be able to fulfill the consent decree, and we recognize that. But should we pay the existing debt before we start going down the road of getting in further debt?
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.